Okay, so I glued down the two center pieces of the crossover or grade crossing, and then I weighted them down. The two little strips here on the inside I did not glue down yet. It went down pretty good. There's definitely gaps in there for the wheel flanges to go. For more realism, I'll add dirt in between them, and then of course I'm going to dust these up and dirty them and put black marks on them from oil and tires and everything else. But for the most part they stuck. I think I'll paint the white parts here and here from the little bits of putty that I had to add in there, and then we'll come back and see how it looks. Okay, as you can see, the parts are painted gray, or maybe you can't see, I don't know. It's pretty close to the color of the color foam, but I don't think it's exact on. Also, I need to continue the black wash up and over it. I glued down a piece of styrene on top of the ties, but I left the what would be like the tie nails, the railroad spikes, because this is Atlas track. They're kind of big and it interferes a little bit with the strips of wood, so I put that on there to go over the ties. Now I'm just running some super glue along this, and then the way I'm going to glue it, I'm going to put the rail in the glue or the wood, and then push it up against the metal rail and hold it there until I get the other piece in. The main part with the pink foam is that you got to be careful not to get the super glue on the pink foam, because it'll eat it. It'll eat that pink foam like nobody's business. So I get that on there, put that on there. I accidentally hooked my shirt on the rail down here and pulled up the track a little bit, so I've got my tape measure on there holding that down. I'll get a weight on this and let it dry. We'll be right back. Okay, so it's been weighted down for a little while. Hopefully it didn't stick to the tape, but I got a big old bottle of paint that I put on top of it and weighted it down pretty good. Oh, didn't stick. So grade crossing looks pretty good. It's all secured down. I have a piece of color foam about the width. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it down here and then see where it needs to be cut, and take a pencil and do a little bit of marking. Now that I got it marked out on either side, I'm going to take a ruler. This is off screen, so you can't see this. At least not yet. I'm just going to mark it with a ruler, and then I'll cut it on film. Okay. I'll move the camera back here where you can see. Oh no, my memory. Hang on a second. Okay, so I went ahead and mixed a little bit of the black wash with the gray paint. Notice the gray paint didn't want to break up a lot, but it's got like little clumps in there, but that's okay. If all else fails, I'll just go over the ties with regular gray. Well, actually it's looking pretty good. So I'm just going to go over this with a little bit of the India ink wash and the gray paint, and try to make it a little more like old style ties. And since this is a diorama, I don't really have to worry that much about getting paint and liquid on the railheads, because it's just gonna get all dirty and grimy anyway, just like real life. And I don't have to worry about running power lines and everything and trying to clean it off to run the engines on there. I will, however, have a set of feeders for it, so I can run headlights and lighting functions for certain photographs later on. I want to be careful I don't get too much on the color foam, but I want to get it on the ties pretty good, pretty thick. And then when this dries, it'll look a little different than it does now as being wet, but it should come out pretty good, in theory. We'll see when the finished product is done. Now later on, after I'm done doing all this and this dries, I'm still going to run black AIM powders in the lanes where the vehicles would drive, because if you look on prototype roads, you'll see what looks like oil stains and tire skid marks and all that kind of good stuff, and it leaves like a black stain in the middle of where the vehicles would be driving across. And then of course I'll put dirt and all kinds of other things on there, and even real dust. The longer the diorama sits on the shelf, the more realistic it looks. Okay, so I was also asked by someone, John, known as Model Railroader, or Railer, I'm sorry, here on YouTube. He asked about being able to use highways and byways road markings on the color foam. I tried it before on the old diorama that I had. I had color foam on it, or the foamies, or silly winks, whatever you want to call it. And it didn't stick very well. Well, I stand corrected. Some places it stuck really good, and some places it didn't stick at all. I'm pretty sure that was my fault. I'm pretty sure the roads were dirty from sitting out in the shop. Even though this is indoors, it you know, I still have like a crack at the bottom of my door. I have eaveways that are not completely sealed up, and I know dust probably got on it and caused the striping to not stick very well. So I'm going to try it again, but I'm going to try a couple of different methods. This is the, I put my hand behind it, railroad crossing mark from Highways and Byways. Then I have the only sign and the arrows and everything. I'm going to try to put all those on there. I'm going to do most of the markings with masking tape and spray paint. Spray paint does go good on the color foam, and it doesn't eat it. It doesn't melt or anything like that. So that's probably what I'm going to do next. I got to wait for this to dry now. Got a hair on there. I got to wait for this to dry, and then I'll probably start doing the markings after that. So we'll be back.